In this video, we're going to explore how, or this is the part 2 of our video. We're going to how can we add and remove data from our chart, and of course, how can we create how can we filter data in charts. Basically, that's what we're going to do here. Is we're going to work on the filter part. So if you watch part 1, where we start to do the add and remove, and this question here is based off one of our viewers. Special thank to Mohamed, and here he had the following. He was asking exactly this question, and of course I already gave one of the answers here. Well, it was one video, and if you want to know which video he responded to, it was the video related to creating entries or data entries, or how to remove data entries from tooltips. However, I already gave one video here where we are adding and removing data. However, now I want to focus on how can we filter data, because the question he had is basically two different questions. First one is how to add and remove data, is basically related to how you can adjust values in an array. The next one, which is how to filter data in a chart, is basically not adding or removing data from an array. No, it is filtering out specific values based on a condition. And if that condition is true, create a new array with those values, and if it's and then show those values. So basically, you're not deleting or removing data from the existing array. You're just going to create a new array with the filtered data. So let's start and work on this. All right. So I assume you already followed with me on the first part. So I will skip this one here, and I'm going to break down everything what we are going to do now, because here we have to do some, what we're going to do, we combine multiple codes together. But the first one, well, let's break it down. First is to create a function. We're going to create a new function, and this new function will be not update, but filter chart. Once we have this function, we're going to create a filter with the array.filter command, and we do a filtering. So what happens once we filter that, we have a new array. Then what we want to do is we want to create two new arrays. Create two new arrays for the labels plus colors. And the reason why is simply this. Let's say here we're going to filter this data, and we only get these two. No, sorry, we get only these two data points here. That means that these will move to the very front. And what happens here is this. This here is not moving along, but what we need is, if we have number 12, we must have the value of blue here in the labels, and we must have this blue color here. And same with number 19, we must have yellow, the label with the value of yellow plus background color will be this color here. So we need to extract those, and that's very important what we're going to do here. So this is why we need to create two new arrays, and then we create a for loop. And in this for loop, we're going to use, oops, we can just, I'm already preparing to do for loop, but all right, this is for loop plus loop through the array. And here we will, and get, then basically plus getting the matching, and get the matching value. No need to do it redundant, that will be redundant. Get the matching value. All right, that's it. Once we have this, we need to push this into the new array. And once we have that, return or reassign the array into the specific, into the chart, I guess. We're going to reassign certain values, but we're going to grab the new value or the new array that we make and indicate that in here, basically. So reassigning would mean this should be readjusted to whatever we have based on the array. And then once we have that, finally update chart. So we're going to use a few things together. We're going to combine together to make it quick, or at least to make it easy to understand. All right, so what I'm going to do here first is I'm going to create a filter chart function, and this function basically will create the button. So we can create a button here as well. So for example, what I want to do here is we have a button here, that should say here filter chart. That's the only thing what I'm going to do here, because we don't need much here. So button, and this will be an onClick, and this onClick will be filter chart, capital C, make sure that's consistent, and then we say here filter chart. Save that. Alright, so we have this here, but of course we didn't have any option in the function. There we are. So let's start to create now the next item. Alright, we filter the array. So what we need to do now is basically we're going to get the array that we want to filter. So in our case, I'm going to do a condition based on numbers. Yes, so for example, if everything below, or everything, every value of 6 and below should be filtered out, meaning that everything above 6, 12, 19, and 7 should be displayed, and everything else should be removed from the array. Or at least not removing from the array, but we create a new array with the filtered data. Yes, very important. All right. So what we're going to do is first we're going to get the array first here. So how do we get the array? Chart, my chart, data, data set, and then here to data. All right. Remember this is an index 0, so you should know that one. I already explained that one. You don't watch my other video. All right. So here we're going to put in my chart, data, data sets, and then this is 0, and finally data. And then what we want to do here, we want to create a result. So let's say filter result. Oh, it should be a constant filter result equals this data. All right, we have this one dot, and then here what we're going to do is we're going to use the filter array. Basically, this is the array itself. As you can see, this would be the array. This is just we are just pinpointing it specifically from here, here, going here, just to get these values here. That's it. All right. So we say here filter, and then now we need to create the filter condition. So we say here value, and then basically this here is just the value that we're going to extract if something would be true or false. If it's true, it will extract it. If it's not true, it will not be extracted. Or basically, if the value matches the filter, that value will be added in the array, and if the value is not matching the filter, it will not be added in the array. Simple as that. So we say here value, so basically this will be the value. Well, let me show you. Then we say here if the value is bigger than 6. So basically what happens here is basically this value here is the array value. So we will run here, say number 1. So this would be number 1 then, for example. If number 1 is bigger than 6, no. Okay, so here, blank, or don't add. Basically it says don't add. And then after the second one, let's put this back. The second one is number 12. So then you see again, it will go here. This number 12 is bigger than 6. Yes. Okay, add 12 to the array. So that's the first one that's being added. Basically, it will push that into the new array, which is of course the filter result array, which is automatically created because of the filter. All right. So this is basically what we're doing. So the value here, this one is dependent on whatever is inserted here. So that's the argument. All right. So now we have this. So once we have this, let's look here. We can double check now. Console.log, and just check if the filter result is filtering as we expected. Let's save this. Refresh here. Open up the developer tab. Then if I press on this button, it triggers, and there you are. You can see we're getting now 3 different data. Am I correct? You can see here 12, 19, 7. All right. If I say this was 6, what happens then? We press here. We only get 2 values. All right. Part number 2 has been done or works well. So we have this here now. So now we continue on. All right. We create the filter command. That is this one here below. What's next? Create 2 new arrays. All right. So we need to create now arrays. I'm going to show you a simple way to do it, basically with the bracket. This is just it. So we say here, what I'm going to name them is simply this. I will say here filter labels. And what I do here, I just say filter result, or filter data. Maybe this should be data, because that's the data. Filter data. And because we're going to use here filter labels, and the other one is So filter labels, why labels here? Because this is the one we're going to filter because we need to get the matching value. And the other one will be background color. You can do border color, but you have to adjust the structure what we have here. And the reason I kept this one here, watch my previous video, that was part 1. Watch part 1. That's the most important one, which I put also in the comment section. So in the comment section you can find the part 1, so in case needed. All right, so you have this one here. So we have the filter labels. Then the next one will be oh sorry, you have to do it like this, equals filter labels. And this one here is well, we can do letter or const. That's fine. Then the other one will be filter colors. All right, so we got that one. We can basically, this is fine. We can remove that, so we already know this works. So these are just blank, and the reason why they're blank is we need to now match them. We have to create them because the filter data is already an array. As I showed here, you can see this is an array, so it understands it's an array. All right. So now we have this one. We have created this too as well. There we are. So we're now next. So what do we need to do more? All right, we have to create the for loop. Let's create the for loop here. That will be fun. The for loop here is basically this. So the first thing what I'm going to do is, before I create the for loop, I will just assign a value. Let I equals 0. Meaning is we have to start with 0, and then after it needs to loop through. And we have to loop them based on the filter data, which have specific values that we need to extract. All right. So in here we say for the for loop, for, and then we say I semicolon. So that's first the value here, and then next we have the condition. So what's the condition here? Basically, we're going to figure out the filter data length. Yes. So what we're doing here is we just say here filter data, or basically we'll say we will keep on looping I until I is bigger than the length of filter data length. Then I have to later double check if this is correct, or I have to do the one way or the other way. It's basically the I must keep on looping big until the length. Length, yeah, there we are. So if, as long as this is bigger, we'll loop, or I think it's this way, the other way around, because the filter data is bigger. Keep on looping until the filter data is one or the other. Well, we'll see that. I somehow, I don't know why I always get confused in that, but fair enough. We'll see later on, we can double check that. All right, so we have this, and then we have the final item. What is the final item here is I++. All right, so we add these in here, and in here we have the loop. Now what we need to do is we need to create the matching value. With that, we need to use the index. Yes, so we're going to use here also index of, and then here. This one basically gets the index of the specific location. And what is the index? Well, here we have this here, and remember we have the filter, and the filter will get 2 or 3 data depending on what we are going to do. Here right now we have 3 data, yeah, 12, 19, and 7. We have 3 items, but we want to know that where is number 12 located, which index number. And the reason why is, as I explained previously or earlier, when we have the new array, you can see here 0 is 12, but if you do 0, it will get red. That's not true. We want to have blue, meaning that we need to find the index location of 12, and then we have to match it with the blue or with the labels to get that exact matching item. All right. So if you understand this, this is a part that I have a video about POS where that's combined as well. Uses the same in the logic in the POS system as well, where you click on, for example, or on ordering a specific item, and it should show the matching price of that item. And then, of course, if you would cancel it, you would delete the specific item and delete the matching price with that item. Simple as that. All right. So for this, I'm going to make it very short, or short. Let's say here the result, and then we have here the constant and the result. And I don't know, I think we don't even need this one. All we need is this. I want to get the index of. Of which one do I want to get? I want to get it from my data. It's as simple as that. We get it from my data. And then we say index of. And basically in here, all we want is to get the value matching. So what are we searching for? In the index of is going to search for a specific value. So if I say number 12 in our filter data, it will search number 12 within this one here. Yes. So basically we say All right, we have this array here, but if number 12, where is it positioned previously in the old array? That's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. I hope you understand this one. If you don't, I'll make a separate video on this as well. I mean, this is quite complicated. So we have here my chart.data, this, and then the value here is basically the item that we want here. So we say here filter data, and then we say here I. All right. So once we did that, what we can do is we can do here a console.log, and let's log out or show the results here. So save this. Once you save that, refresh and see what happens. All right. As you can see here, position number 1. So the first one was 12. Remember? 12. Position number 1. Is that correct? Yes. The reason why it's correct, the array starts with 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one is number 1. So it's 0, 1. All right, that's correct. Then you have number 19 will be number 2. All right. And then number 4. Now number 4 is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we are. This is exactly what we need. So we're getting very close to it now. So now we did this. We got the loop with the including the matching value. So how do we get the matching value, you might ask? Well, what we can do here is we say just the results equals, and now I'll just say here constant of the result. And the reason I'm putting this here in, now we can just get this command here and put that or match it with the other items. So all what we want to do now is this. So we say here, well, what are we needing? We're needing the labels. So I will just say here constant label, I guess. I'm just giving it a name. So this label here is, well, basically this. We're going here now to the labels. And we say my chart data labels. So my chart dot data dot labels, and then here we need to put in the value. And what is the value here? That is the result number. There you are. So if we have this, and then we say console.log label. I want to give this, well, I'll give this a bit better. Label, I'll just give it label result, so it's consistent with what we have. So once we save this and refresh, press on it. All right, there we are. Blue, am I correct? Yes, blue is number 12. Yellow, yes, that's correct. And finally purple. There we are. So now we have the most important part. We have the labels. Let's do now the color. Remember, the labels here is this. The colors are the one here down. All right, and this is specifically on border colors. So let's do that one. Const. Then we say here colors result equals my chart dot data set 0. Okay, you probably know why now, right? The my chart data sets, and then here 0 because it's index 0, and then background color dot background color result. All right, so let's double check this. Let me say console.log, show the color result, save this, refresh here, press the button there. Now you get the colors. All right, so we have to check here because let's say here the third one is the purple, and then there's a purplish color, but quite light. So let's see here 153 102 255. 153 102 255. That is correct, which is the fourth. So 1 2 3 4 5. All right, this is the fourth one because we start with 0. So 0 1 2 3 4. There we are. That's the last value. All right, we're good to go. So we have confirmed this. Now what we need to do is we need to push the values. So now it's time to push the array into the new array, or the values into the new array. So that's what we're going to do here. And now what we're going to do is simply this. We're going to look. This is our array for the filters and for the colors. And then we say here dot push. Yes, I already talked about push before. Push basically adds the array at the very end. So here, what is exactly what we need? The label results. There we are. Copy this. There we are. All right. So we've got this, and then once we have this, I want to double test again what is the result here of our array. Now we say here console.log here. So now we should have all the arrays correctly here. So if I have this one, filter color, and then I want to have last one is filter data. Filter data. Save this. Refresh. Oh, filter data is not defined. Double check. What's going on here? Filter data. Not defined. Const filter data. Am I missing something here? Oh, we can double check that. Let me double check this one. Filter data. Not defined. Alright, so I will just check this later on, just to make sure what's going on here. What am I missing? We save this. Go back here. And now if we do we have something? The tutorial filter labels are not defined. Filter labels. Oh, sorry. This is of course not what I should do. I am outside the function. I was thinking what's going on here. I'm outside the function, not allowed to be outside the function because these are function based items which are on the function, the const. We have to be within the function. Make sure you stay in the function. Save this. Now we should have everything working as expected. Alright, let's go to console. Press here, you get all the values here. There you are. So now we're done. Basically we're done here. And now what we can do here is, what we're going to do is reassign. So this is the final one, is reassign, and then after the update. So I'm going to reassign them. So how do we reassign them? Well, we say here the following. We say my chart, data sets, and then we can go to data equal to whatever we need. So we say here my chart dot data sets 0 dot data equal filter data. That's number one. The next one would be almost similar, but then with colors. They say here not this, they say background color. Am I correct? Background color. Well, I will double check that just to be sure. Yes, background color. And then we say here filter colors, and the one here between is my chart. So to make sure you understand it, why my chart data labels. All right. The other one was my chart data sets background color. My chart data labels equal the labels here. All right. This one doesn't need to have any zeros because there's no index in here. All right. Remove the console log. We already got these everything. Once we did this, final option here is to click here my chart dot update, and then we have probably done it. Let's refresh here and then press this. There you are. Now we have added and filtered the chart. We could even do something else because right now it's a hard-coded filter of the value here. Let's do something else. Let's make this based on whatever we want to insert here. Let's check. Where are we? What we can do is here. All right, what we're going to do is I'm going to make here a horizontal button. I'm going to put in here input number. Input data, that's a number. We can always copy this style here. Then we say here class, and then what I will do here is filter data, or yeah, filter data ID data number. I'll just give that like that because I will copy this and give the same name here. All right, so filter data number, and then this here. So we say here the following. We create a constant. The constant filter data number is document dot. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get that element, make sure that JavaScript understands that there is a special HTML element with filter data number. And then when we put in something in there, we'll get it and adjust that one here. So we say here, document get element by ID. What's the ID name? That one. All right. And then we could maybe even do it to make it really simple. It's just say dot value. All right. So the moment we have a value here, we put this in here. So once we have this, whatever the value is, it will grab that and then it will start to filter based on that. So if we refresh here, And let's see if we do here now 6, you filter. All right, and if we refresh and we say now 2, I have no idea what we get. There we are. And if we say 10, what happens then? There you are. It still gets. So what happens? It still gets the original value. As I told you previously, we don't delete any data. The only thing what we're doing is we create a new filter data that is temporarily used to filter the values. Just like normally, if you want to get the month, you filter out the data, but you don't delete that data or the previous array. You still keep the previous array. All right, so we could do here more, and then we say this. Nothing happens, of course. I think if you put on 14, there you are, you only get 1 item because there's only 1 item left. And if you do 1, let's see what happens. Doesn't work. Let's see what's going on, why it doesn't work. Maybe need to refresh here. Alright, so apparently you still have to refresh. It will filter out, but it will still use some of the things. What we need to do basically, which is a way to do it, is basically to use this, make this a value, and from this value connecting them all together. If that's possible, we can do it, but it will take some time, and I'll do it maybe another time. I think for now this is the most important. If you want to do this value, what you need to do here is make it a constant. Say data values, for example, or data. But I think we're using a lot of time data, so that's why you have to watch out. If you use too many times, it will be confusing. And then will be just this equals this. Yes, and then here, this data could be in here. And then you can start to use the data values here. You could even extract from the original, and then you can keep on working from that. But that's alright for now. I will not do this for now, as the video is becoming quite long. However, this here should give a very, very clear part of how to add data and how to filter data. Of course, you can combine them together. That might be another video. I didn't realize that this probably could go almost endless with so many different videos. Might be one for next video to put another third one to combine everything and make it more flexible. However, this is the most important part on how to filter your chart. Is Chart.js using all these functions we have with the filter chart. Because this is a separate function, as below we have the update chart, and this one is specifically the filter chart. And you can see here, quite complicated. So if you have questions regarding to this or still struggle, put them in the comment section below and I'll make sure I'll get back to you. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you enjoy this video, you probably will enjoy this one as well. And if you're interested in Chart.js, check out in the description box the link directing to my Chart.js course where you can learn everything about Chart.js. And finally, of course, make sure you subscribe to my channel.